So when I use the activated carbon, I want to flush it with some fresh water just to take any dust or sediment off it, and chuck it in this bag. And a couple of months time, I'd want to chuck it out, give the bag a clean, and go again with some fresh carbon to keep the water nice and clear and smell free. Big turtles like can have a bit of smell too, so the carbon gets rid of the smell and clears up the water. Filter, we're wanting to remove water from the aquarium itself. Then we want to give the filter a rinse in water from the aquarium itself, so we're not exposing the good bacteria to chlorine. And if I just give that a clean, I don't have to get it really clean, I just have to get all the crap out of it. As you can see, totally full of crap. So this filter is definitely overdue for cleaning. So doing it more regularly will definitely give much better results. Because when I give the sponges a clean, I want them to be dirty, but not that bad. Polyfilter's your friend. We'll chuck some more polyfilter in. Because if you don't want to be servicing too regularly, this stuff is your absolute best friend. It will adsorb and absorb anything impure out of the water, and it will not clog up. It will clean the particles, so therefore you can go a long time without cleaning and your tank will stay relatively clean, clear and healthy. It also removes a lot of accumulants, which is a lot of the things that build up in your water that we don't really know about, we can't really test for, but it gives you that peace of mind. I love this stuff, Polyfilter. When it's black, you chuck it out, it starts off around with your filter for whatever reason. Now, inside your filter is going to be lots of good bacteria. Now, the two ways to be conscious that you can stuff up your good bacteria. One is let it dry out. So try to focus on this job until you can get the filter back together again. You don't want any of this drying out, because drying out media can die. The other thing you don't want to do is let the filter media run out of oxygen. So you wouldn't want to have it just sitting underwater. And if you do have to transport any of this stuff, it's much better to transport it damp. So just put it a little bit wet into a bag or a lid bucket, and make sure that oxygen is exposed to the bacteria. Having the bacteria under the water for too long is how you choke it of oxygen, and that's not good. Okay, so the KH is 2.2, so I would like to see that come up. They've got that. GH is 11. Now that could be from too much water ager. That's okay. pH is 6.1, which is definitely too low. I want that more like 7.4 for turtles and fish. There's a tiny bit of ammonia, that's nothing really to worry about. No nitrite, which means the filter is working well, but nitrate is very high, 100. I really want that much lower. So some water changes and filter cleans are definitely in order, because the water quality is not as good as I want it at all. So the salt level is completely zero. Now for turtles and goldfish, I'm going to get a much better result if we get a little bit of salt in the water. Right now there's absolutely zero. So I want to recommend some GH salts ASAP. Time you move your aquarium, you need to level it. Make sure it's nice and flat that way, and make sure it's nice and flat that way before you set it up. Otherwise you risk the integrity of your tank, which is not as fun as you'd think. Always be safe, always level. Now I'd want to be very aware of my calcium level, and I definitely want to fix that light. Make sure that it's not shining into the glass, and also make sure that tube for the light is not older than 1 year, because it will burn intensity and spectrum. The gases burn out, and there's also a bit of an indent on the top of this turtle, and they're all little bits of his shell falling off. So this process, we've been very gentle with him, but there is shell falling off, and I found quite a bit of shell in the tank. So I would want to start dosing calcium, putting in turtle calcium blocks, and I would want to sort that light out, which I'll do now. I'm a little bit worried about these turtles having the shell fall off like that. Can't happen, but it's not ideal. Oh no, he's got no head. So bits of shell can fall off. They do sort of shed their shell, but I am worried about the UVB light and the calcium in the water. And I really want to see them fed on a better diet of food, including frozen food, Spectrum's probiotics, and I love Danichi because it's a slow color holistic food. It would be really interesting to find out the age of these goldfish, because standard lifespan of goldfish in the wild, or the original goldfish, is sort of 4 to 7 years. Now, in aquariums, you do hear the odd story of 10 years and 20 years and so forth, and that actually happens and it is possible. But these guys could actually be quite old. But I would be interested in what their age is. The other thing I'd recommend too is if you are going to do something major like rearrange your aquarium, remove your aquarium or whatever, is if you don't feed your fish for a few days prior to the move, then it really reduces the amount of crap. So you can see all this shit that he shitted out while we have been moving the tank. And it really has only been a number of hours, but that's a lot of shit there. So the moving process tends to go much better if you do not feed them for a few days leading up to the move, and probably even don't feed them for a few days after the move. I want to see the light going straight into the aquarium, but I also want to see a dock underneath it where the turtle can get out of the water. Then I'd be happy. Now, as far as mixing turtles and fish are concerned, it's really luck. You can get a pair of turtles, a little bit of shedding on the head is very normal. You can get a couple of turtles and a couple of fish that get along really well. Then you can get different turtles, the same species with different fish. More shell here by the looks of it. Now, and then they just don't get along at all. So as far as turtles getting along with each other, turtles getting along with fish, it's really just a matter of, will your dog get along with my dog? Sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't. Such good pets, actually. Turtles are pretty cool. They live for a long time, so 60 years and stuff. Wonderful part of the family. Beautiful pets. So when refilling the aquarium, what we want to do is fill up about 5 centimeters of water. Then we want to give it a dose of whatever water rager we're choosing. Work out the dose rate. Then, in a few days, you really want to get the water tested. And then if more GH, KH or whatever needs to be added, then we can deal with it. So let it raise 5 centimeters, then dose it, then raise 5 centimeters, then dose it. And once again, if this was my tank, I'd have a flipper. Makes it so much easier to clean the tank. I'm worried about this light not being on a timer, because I'd want this light on for probably around 6 to 8 hours a day. And I definitely don't want it 24/7, because I definitely don't want messed up fish that don't sleep, because they need to sleep. They can't just party on all day and all night. I'd really like to see the quality of these animals improve. A bit more love.